My name is Danielle. I'm a Lebanese artist. I've been living here in Portugal for 4 years now, and I am the latest guest of Portugal, The Simple Life.
Welcome back, or welcome to another episode of Portugal, The Simple Life, and I'm really happy to be joined here by Danielle Ashkar. Danielle, bon dia.
Hello, bon dia.
Thank you for being on the podcast. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How about you?
Very well, very well. We've got sun, the sun is shining, so we have nothing to complain about here in Portugal.
That's true.
Yes. Danielle, why don't you start off telling us a little bit about you?
Sure. My name is Danielle. I'm a Lebanese artist. I moved to Portugal in 2021 along with my family, and we're loving it. We love living here.
How did that start for you, Danielle? How did Portugal start? Tell us about that transition from Lebanon, why you wanted to move, and how you discovered Portugal.
Okay, we came like 8 years ago just to visit as tourists, and we really loved the country. It was only for a few days, and we felt like there is special charm in the country, and we only did Lisbon. Few years after, the situation in Lebanon was a bit unsafe, and then we decided to raise the family here and to move to Portugal. Especially it's Western Europe, it's beautiful, for so many advantages.
I don't know, I've never been to Lebanon, so excuse my ignorance, but I know politically things are a bit unstable. Was that a lot of the reason for wanting to move?
Until last week, luckily, we started having good news. They elected president and prime minister, and things are getting better, luckily.
Okay. Yes. But it was the instability there that
yes, the inflation, this year the war, and insecurity. It wasn't safe overall, and it was difficult to live there. It was more of a survival mode than living normal days and normal life, and especially that I have kids. So we decided to move here for more safety.
Yeah. How old are your children?
7 and 4.
Okay, so young children.
Yes.
I mean, what has your experience been as a mother of 2 young children? In your opinion, what do you think Portugal offers for I mean, how is Portugal for young children?
I think the country is very kids friendly, and the schools are really very good. They have an advantage because now they learn Portuguese. They speak very well Portuguese. It's an additional language because they speak Arabic, French, English, and now Portuguese. So Portugal is a great place to raise a family.
So have they picked up the language? Are they kind of fluent now in Portuguese?
They are very fluent because when we came 4 years back, they were really very young, and it's so easy for kids to get new languages. So yeah, I'm so proud.
Do they help you? Do they help you sometimes translate?
I ask them to translate. That's amazing. It's a good advantage.
It's a good advantage. Yeah, my youngest son, he's sometimes. I'm quite fluent in Portuguese because I've been here for such a long time, but even him sometimes corrects my Portuguese. So there's advantages to that. When you first visited Portugal 8 years ago, were you thinking then already about moving?
No, never thought of leaving my home country, honestly, never. So I never wanted to live outside of Lebanon, but because we really loved Portugal and things were not very stable in Lebanon, so it was the only option that we had in mind.
Was Portugal.
Yeah.
As you know, I left South Africa many years ago, and you have a list of priorities usually in your mind, or sometimes for other people written down, of, okay, I need to make sure that these things are provided for, and that. Did you have a similar thing where you're like, okay, these 4 or 5 things are important to us, and what were those things, and how did you feel Portugal tick those boxes and match those requirements?
First and foremost, it was safety. And Lisbon and Portugal is known for being very safe. Second, the climate. The climate is amazing. We can never complain in Portugal. The climate is really nice, The sun, and even when it rains, it's not very cold. Only the wind can be very intense.
The wind, yeah. Today it's quite windy.
Yeah, the coastline, the golden beaches, the beauty of the landscape everywhere you go, from north to south, the exceptional food, the good medical system they have, the warmth of Portuguese people, the tradition, the history, the rich culture, many things that Portugal offers made us move here.
We often come, and the first times that we visit, there's this romantic feeling, and there's the emotion, and there's the newness of everything. But now you've been here for almost well, 4 years, more or less.
Yeah.
How is the experience day to day of being living here? Did it match your expectations?
Yes.
Tell me more about that?
It met our expectations in many ways, and we appreciate a lot Portuguese people because it's also about the people, the Portuguese people here.
Yeah,
I think Portuguese people are very connected to their tradition and to their culture, and they are very cultivated people. As well, the family is the heart, the center of Portuguese people. So they are very close to their family. They respect them. I love the pace of life of Portuguese people, how they approach life, how they see it. They see life in a very beautiful eye, and the way they value the food, the approach of life. They have this. There is a certain calmness. That's it. I found the way. Certain calmness in their way of life that brings peace. And I learned it because I used to rush in everything and I'm always in a hurry. But I learned here to take life slowly and to enjoy the small things and to enjoy just the life's simple pleasures.
Yeah. One thing I do know about Lebanese culture, food is very important. You have really amazing food. You've moved to a place where food is also very important. Tell us about that as someone that, with the background with food and everything happens around a table. How has Portugal been in comparison?
Their food, I feel that the food here is very healthy, and we really love seafood, and the kids as well. When we first came, they didn't eat much fish, but now they prefer Portuguese food on Lebanese food.
Oh, really?
Even.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's generous. The portions are generous. The food is generous. The hospitality is really good. We were not deceived comparing to Lebanon. We were happy.
Yeah. Is there a big difference in the cuisine? Is there?
It is quite different. It's totally different. Yeah. We have a lot of vegetarian platters. We have a lot of food with meat. Here it's more concentrated on fish, I feel. They have, of course, the pork. They have a lot of meat as well. But mainly, what I feel, at least, it's more into fish.
And that's good. Yeah, the fish is good. The fish is good. You mentioned the people. I mean, you've come from a country where there was a bit of civil unrest, and you mentioned that it wasn't very safe. I'm from South Africa, where we have a lot of political problems, safety, and that always tends to put something in between people. And there's always this, and in today's world with wars and Trump and all these things happening around the world, there's always, and in the UK, things politically are quite bad. It almost makes people angry and division and this ostracizing and division between people. And then you come to Portugal and there's this openness. And you mentioned that the people have made it the place that it was. How has the experience been for you as just a woman, and then also as a family? The way that you've been accepted into this country, how's that experience been?
Accepted in the country, they don't mind you. I think that they don't mind having strangers in the country, but I also respect the feeling that they have that they don't like too many changes in their world, because it's been a very calm country for a very long time, and then they were invaded by strangers. And I totally understand when sometimes they don't like it much and they don't trust people to let them inside their circle. I appreciate that they take their time to make you go inside their circle, which is totally normal. But when you're inside, they are the best friends you can make.
Yeah. I mean, has it helped? Because I mean, you've got involved in the art community, and that's always, I think, a good way to integrate. I think it's always a good way to become part of the community is find a niche, find an avenue. And I know you're involved in the art community in here. Has that helped as well? Is just finding some sort of commonality with people and making friends with local people that way?
It helped, but school helped, having
With the kids.
parents, yeah. Art world, not really much. I have friends from the art world, yeah, but I feel more it's from networking from school or around in the neighborhood and communities. This more helped more.
Yeah. And yeah, with kids as well, it's always interesting because they tend to make friends very quickly.
Yes.
Children don't pay much attention to where we're from or religion or race or anything like that, and they just make a friend with whoever. And then yeah, you meet parents because of your kids. That's also always a good way. Everything's for the kids here, so it's quite a nice way to meet people as well.
True.
Tell us about your art. Tell us about what you do.
I paint, obviously. That's one of my paintings. And I've been painting for a long time now. And talking about Portugal and art, it made me explore more themes about nature, Portugal, by its beautiful nature. I have a series of like 10 paintings only around nature. And it's inspired by Portugal. Portugal influenced me. It's stunning landscapes from Azores to Lisbon. I was completely surprised by the beauty of Azores as well.
Yeah.
I visited São Miguel and I visited, not Azores, Madeira as well. It's amazing, the nature there. I've never seen such beautiful landscapes. And it really inspired me. Also, the surfers in Caparica or in Ericeira, everything was very inspiring here. This is from the side of nature. As for the woman, I do a lot of it's a recurring theme in my paintings. I always paint them, body or portrait or anything related to women. It can be a sketch or a painting. They represent life to me, women in general, strengths, creation, individuality. It's a theme that I heart a lot, and I will keep on. I think it's never enough because I try to show always outside the beautiful aesthetic of women and the body shape and whatever. I try to show their vulnerability, their emotions, what they've been through, how strong a woman can be, and how many phases they go through their lives, and they're strong, their life, their creation.
Yeah.
So it's a very important theme to me, and I will always have it in my work.
I know another artist in Lisbon. She's German, and she shared with me a long time ago the art that she used to paint when she lived in Germany, and the art that she paints now that she's been living in Portugal, and it's literally night and day. Like, she's like, this is the last painting I did before I left Germany. This was the first painting I did when I moved to Portugal. And it's just amazing to see it. And the way that she described it was the hope in her new paintings and light.
Yes.
How you mentioned your art was different and it's changed. How has your art changed since being here?
It changed a lot. First, there is one thing that I adore in Lisbon is the light, the warm light. There is a special light. Even when you take a picture, the shadow, the shadow of the buildings, shadow of people, even in botanical gardens, there is a special light in Lisbon. And this influenced a lot my paintings because now I have a lot of light in my paintings. Even the way I see things, let's say, I'll give you a small example. When I first came here, it took me time to start painting again because I was really hurt from what's happening in Lebanon. At first, I had started painting a Joker, which is not my style. And then I waited on it like a month or two. It took me a while. And I turned the painting. I didn't want to see it anymore, the Joker, because I was living here and then I was stuck back in Lebanon. After like a month or two, I just painted above the Joker, removed it, and painted the landscape. It changed my whole vision because it's always about where you are, how you feel, what are you surrounded with, and the good vibes you are in. Portugal has good vibes, beautiful vibes.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. Just coming back to, I want to still talk a bit more about the art side of things, and I think I've spoken to artists and we've had photographers on the podcast, and when they start to speak about Portugal from a visual point of view, it's fascinating. So I want to come back to that. But you mentioned how when you came here, it took you time to want to recover, to heal, to want to paint again. How how did Portugal help you recover? How did being here help you heal and get back into that creative mindset and that inspiration?
The peace, it's so peaceful. Going to Gulbenkian Garden, walking in the green nature, feeling safe, having the mind rest. My mind rested. My heart felt better. I felt I'm well surrounded. There is a certain peace and calmness here in Lisbon, even if it's a city and they say it's a busy city, but it's not. I don't feel it's busy enough. And it's a small city. It's not big. I felt this good karma in the city. It took me time for sure to start painting again. Not much, not a year, but it came within every day. When I went out, I was feeling the fresh air, the good wind, the beautiful people. You see from everything. I went to galleries, I went to museums, I explored, and this is how it came.
Amazing. The way that we got in touch was I actually saw a video that you did for Strondo Art
Yeah.
Gallery.
Yes.
Tell us about the art community and that sort of movement that's happening, because there's always been I think something that surprises people about Portugal is that love for art and for culture. It's very understated. It's not flashy or high profile, but there is this appreciation for art. There's appreciation for music in this country, but there's now becoming this really rich mixed art community because of, like you mentioned, all these people coming from all over the world. But tell us about the art community and how and what's happening in Portugal from your perspective.
They maybe think that it's art and music is not well appreciated in Portugal because maybe they're comparing to other countries.
Mm.
But we cannot compare.
Yeah.
It's different. I think it has deep appreciation for art, especially last few years. Like things are changing. Like you see in Marvilla, many art galleries, many art events. No, I think it's rooted in history. It's rooted in culture, starting from the azulejo. It has art, a lot of art, the
Yeah.
fado for the music. So also there is a lot of vibrant art communities and galleries, and galleries are being more open to, excuse me, they are more open to foreigners. I applied personally to many galleries, and they only take Portuguese artists, which is fine. Many other galleries take from all over the world artists. There is artistic festivals and events. There's Arco. Many artistic things are coming and growing in the country.
Let's talk about the visual side of things, because I know that's probably the thing that inspires you the most. You have this, you mentioned Azores, you mentioned Madeira, Lisbon, of course. You have this country, and when we can include the islands as well in this, it is so diverse. You can go north, you can go south. It's a completely different landscape. How has that been for your artist eyes, living in a place that's so different in terms of the landscape, the architecture, the visuals?
It's very good because first Portugal is not a very, very, very big country, so it's easy to reach. Like if you want more Gothic style, dark, you can go to Porto. And you can get a lot of influence from the architecture, from the weather, from the skies in Porto, which is different from the same. If you want to go not very far to Algarve, which is also amazing, you can go to Caparica and see the surfers and get inspired from the beach and get the calmness of the waves. Azores is, I don't know, I don't remember, 1.5 hours maybe by plane.
Yeah, quick.
Not so far. And it's mesmerizing, those islands. It's very important for anyone who is visual to be in a place like this, like Portugal, because it has from everything. And it's very colorful and beautiful on all sides.
Between my job as a realtor at Portugal Realty and hosting this podcast, life is pretty busy. But lately I've been receiving so many messages from people that want to know more about buying property here on Portugal's Silver Coast that I've got to do something about it. So starting now, for subscribers only, I'm offering up a 30-minute session per day. That's 5 30-minute sessions for a one-on-one meeting to talk about buying property here on Portugal's beautiful Silver Coast. This is for subscribers only. So please subscribe to book your session and get in touch with us through the links below via WhatsApp or email to book your session today. I'll be happy to speak to you. It's for subscribers only and it's completely free. I love that. One of the things that I'm really proud about with this podcast is it, and this is just going to be a little bit of housekeeping, okay? But we have been doing this podcast now for 5 years.
Wow.
People from all over the world. I think you the first guest that we've had that's from Lebanon, so I'm really excited about that.
It's amazing.
But just interesting stories of people that have somehow fallen upon this little country and came here and felt calm and felt welcome and felt happy and felt inspired. And these stories, I think, need to be heard by more people. So do you agree with me? More people need to subscribe to
that's for sure.
channel and follow and listen, so that, because we know how these technological things work. It's so algorithms and things. So for people listening, me and Danielle are telling you, you need to subscribe and you need to tell other people to subscribe so we can share more beautiful stories about how this country has brought all of these different people together. It's amazing.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
Exactly.
So subscribe. You
do subscribe. Subscribe now.
Okay. Danielle, you've mentioned it a couple of times, and I want to try see if you can explain it a bit more. And you're not obviously you have people again like from all over the world that have come here, but you mentioned this calm, how this place calms you and how it's calmed you down. And it sounds like you've come from a very busy and a very turbulent country. Me as well. When I lived in South Africa, it was going all the time. Life is hectic, rushing, making a lot of dust. And you come to Portugal and it's just like life just slows down. You mentioned appreciating the simple things. Tell us more about that. Tell us more about how this place has calmed you and has given you peace, because that's such an important thing in today's world.
It's overall all of our conversations. The weather, the stunning weather, no snow because I don't like snow. Warm weather, good, amazing light, the nature, the gardens, the safety, the food, all of what we've been talking about, everything.
What was the last thing that you've seen recently where it inspired you from a visual perspective, where even it could be the simplest thing? I know the other day you published a photo of walking through the streets of Lisbon at night. That's walking in this late at night in the streets of Lisbon is something quite special. The calmness, the light, the cobblestones. There's something quite beautiful. But maybe share with us the last thing that you saw visually where you're like, that's something that I remember in my mind.
It was just like, now that you are saying, it was like 2 days ago, I was walking in Principe, and
Nice neighborhood.
It wasn't nice for me, but I took a picture of a woman taking a coffee, having her coffee in a very traditional way, traditional coffee place. And she was with a hat and having a coffee, and the windows were squarish. And it reminded me a lot of the painting of Edward Hopper, which I really love, this artist. And I took a picture of it. I love the setup because I might paint it one day, but that was the most inspiring, like 2 days ago, the thing that I saw.
Interesting. Yep. Yeah, I love the visuals. I've seen a painting of yours, which is almost like a aerial painting with boats. And You've got the golden beach and the blue and then the white boats littered around the water. It might be a difficult question to answer, but if you could describe something if you could describe a visual to people listening as an artist, if you could describe a visual that encapsulates Portugal, what would you describe?
To visualize as colors, blue, white. For me, Portugal is all blue, white, pink, and yellow as visual colors. And to visualize something in front of them could be either the beach and the ocean, the amazing ocean, or it could be the beautiful, aligned, colorful buildings of Lisbon.
I like it. Yeah. How has Portugal changed your lives? I mean, I know you've spoken about how it's changed you as a family with young children. I think you have an idea of how you want to raise your children and the type of life that you want to give your children. And for me, it was one of the reasons I moved here. Like I mentioned to you before we started recording, I wanted to have a good place, a place with a good quality of life to raise my family. And I must say, I could never have imagined such a wonderful place for my children to grow up. How has Portugal changed your lives, as in you and your family, from then until now?
I will talk about myself, not about the kids, because they are so young. It made me realize how small we are as human beings, and that we can live anywhere, even if we love our countries, and how strong we can be, and how much we can achieve on our own. And it's very important to live outside your country and get to discover yourself more than other things, to connect with yourself, to understand where you stand in life, and to build a vision, or to see what is your mission in this life. The calmness and the peace here brought so many ideas, and made me realize so many things. One of them is how small we are as a human.
Yeah. Where else have you visited Portugal that also that you thought, wow, this is amazing? Another part of the country. I mean, you mentioned the islands, but has there been other places in the country that you visited where you were surprised and impressed?
I visited many places, many cities in the countries. The only place where I can see myself living is either Lisbon or Azores.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind living on a small island.
No.
Azores
is just incredible. I've been to São Miguel as well many years ago with my wife and family, and yeah, that was from a nature perspective. It's
amazing.
Incredible.
Sure.
Where would you like to visit? Which other parts of the country would you like to explore?
More south, other than Algarve, of course, because I've been many times. More to the south, I would like to discover.
Have you done the Alentejo? Have you been to the Alentejo?
I've been to Alentejo, but not enough. I never feel that I went to any place enough, so I can go many more times. Alentejo, I really like it, and I would like to discover more in the south, like closer to Spain.
Yes,
many places to discover.
I'm going to suggest something for you for your artist eyes, because there's an area, but now it's north of Lisbon, towards the Spanish border. It's called Monsanto, and they actually filmed House of Dragons. I don't know if you know House of Dragons. They filmed it there, and you have these huge, not huge, but you have these mountains with huge rocks and castles built on top of these mountains. The landscape is completely different to anything you would have seen.
Thank you.
I think you will go crazy with your inspiration if you go there. It's because the Alentejo is interesting. It's beautiful because it's flat, and you have these amazing sunsets and these plains with the cork trees. It's incredible. But then you have this rocky mountainous area near the Spanish border to the north. And they built all these castles because they had to defend themselves from the Spanish.
Oh, wow.
And
it's that's like really interesting. Thank you.
Another world. Yeah. So give it a try. Danielle, what's one thing that you would like people to remember and take away from our conversation?
I want people to remember the power of connecting deeply with both emotions and nature. It's very important. Sometimes we are too busy with our lives that we forget to connect. with our emotions, own emotions, and calmness and the peace of mind, and with nature, human emotions and nature. Whether it could be through art, not necessarily, or through everyday life, simple things, embracing the beauty around us can fuel us and give us energy. And for me, it gives me creativity and brings us closer to our true selves.
Yeah, I like that. I like that we live in a place where it's almost like one of the ways that I describe Portugal is it sometimes forces you to slow down, just the way the country is. It forces
It
you to
teaches you.
stop.
Yeah.
Even the little things like you don't take a coffee to take away here. You stop for coffee.
Yeah.
You stop at the balcony. You have a discussion. You stop for lunch. Not a
You don't disturb someone when they're having lunch.
No,
it's amazing. I really appreciate what I learned from here.
Yeah, it's. I think it's just when you speak about connecting with ourselves, connecting with other people, connecting with nature, we're in a world today where we've got these phones attached to our hands and we're always on screens. But I feel like in Portugal, there's still this old world thing of stop. Stop, appreciate your food, appreciate your coffee.
Exactly.
You mentioned the lady in the window.
Appreciate long conversations, appreciate talking deeply with someone without being disturbed, appreciate this simple life pleasures that we have.
Yeah.
That's really good here.
I like it. How can people follow you? How can people see your art, buy your art, and see what work you're doing?
Okay. They can buy my art either through my Instagram page or at the gallery Strondo Art Gallery, which is in Chiado. I don't have all my paintings there, but I have a good amount of paintings. And on my Instagram, Danielle.ashkar, my Instagram page.
Okay. So we're going to put some links in the show notes so that people can follow you and see your art, because it is your art is amazing. Your art is amazing.
Thank you.
Danielle, a question that we ask all of our guests. Portugal, the simple life, why?
Because it's so peaceful and so secure.
Yeah, I like it. Short and sweet. Danielle, thank you for being on the podcast. I've enjoyed this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dylan.
And I'm going to let you call it.
That's a wrap.
So thank you once again to our guest, and thank you to all of you for listening. Please subscribe, share with your friends, give us a thumbs up, and please leave a comment or a review. We always love to hear from you. Don't forget, Portugal The Simple Life also has a magazine, so download it. It's for free. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode, and as we say in Portugal, sejas bem-vindo. Welcome to The Simple Life.